Make no mistake about this. Terrorist groups are springing up every day inside this country. And the way they take the spring up, it will surprise you. Hey, for the very first time, I hear ungoverned spaces inside this country. They plenty pass the governed spaces. Where they know they govern, plenty pass where they govern inside this country. Is it that the presidential system of government is not beneficial? It don't feel govern everybody. Because that is the way it looks like. What I'm about to show you now, you go confirm and say, this government, this system of government also with the practice, it cannot govern everybody. Nigeria is too big for this their nonsense presidential. I don't know. Maybe after you don't watch the video, now you go either agree with me or you not go agree with me. These terrorist groups that we are hearing are the ones that are coming up. How they come up. You go here and inside the video. Very simple strategy. You go see the way they go take come. Like say, they are the savior of the people because they don't notice say government presence no day. Anyway, in fact, the only thing that gets to these ungoverned spaces inside Nigeria, na ballot box during election. You don't finish. Light no day, water no day, road no day, nothing. Police station no day. Even the local government chairman, what did they do for those kind of, you know, even reach that side. They are on their own. And these are the areas the terrorist people are now looking out for, pocketing them. You understand? Stamping their presence. So, you know, come now, come they talk yahoo. I get it. Recruiting the people that are there. They are the members of the terrorist group. The community, in fact, the community alone, not terrorists. Inside that community, they get people, they give them information. Then get who they crack brain on how they want to carry out their operations. In fact, now that they collect tax, they go move around the community. I am going to bring taxi so that we can sustain the. No word. Watch this video. I will play for you now. Watch it very well. Then come and tell me in the comment section that terrorism is easy to battle inside this country with the way things are going under this current administration. Or they quite possible. Yeah, they have Casablanca everywhere. Look at terrorists coming up every day. Watch this video. Let us meet in the conversation. Very soon, everywhere for this content will be terror. When they hear Boko Haram or Lukorawa, others are already in existence. I just see media never carry them. Terrorizing every. Why would they terrorize? The community where they enter, they already seen them as a savior. Therefore, that community now, they will be terrorizing other communities, and then they will come back to that same community that they started from, and the community will shield them, give them information on how not to be caught by outsiders. And the population is growing. How you want to catch them, Watch this video.
Well, it's new to a lot of you, but it's not new to us. This group has been operational for at least 8 years in Nigeria. It's just that they added media bent to it. And then they've been living peacefully, in quotes, with the locals. And then that's how also they plant, and that's also how they recruit. They've been armed all this while. You're hearing about them now because they chose to tax the locals. And they chose to tax the locals. So it is in that the communities that refuse to pay that tax is the communities that they inflicted harm on, as a warning to other communities that may refuse their taxation. It may interest you to know that Nigeria's space continues to shrink. While Nigeria is still Nigeria in terms of landmass, the part of Nigeria that the government is able to reach is shrinking by the day. I think the right term for that is ungoverned spaces. You do have an increasing number of ungoverned spaces in Nigeria, where Nigerian authorities can no longer assert their independence. And this is not just happening in the north. This is happening all over the country. So it is just that you're hearing of it now, but that does not mean that it's happening now. So yes, there are active zones in Nigeria where non-state actors tax the people, where non-state actors are the administrative authorities there. For instance, you won't see police stations there. They are policed by these quote unquote terrorists. All right. And they have embedded themselves locals. They have understood the terrain. They have even recruited from the communities themselves, and they have a vast network of supporters, loyalists, vast network of informants embedded within those communities where they operate. So this is the situation as I see it, not just in the northern part of Nigeria, but across many parts of Nigeria. Anyways, again, things don't just happen, right? The seeds of conflicts, the seeds of terrorism is always planted. I think the last time I was on your program, we discussed terrorism in the Middle Belt. Yeah. And I told you that there are active terror groups, the sleeper terror groups in the Middle Belt. And that if you give them time, that between now and the next 8 years, that you will see what will happen if you don't address some of those legitimate grievances. And then if you don't cut that off. Yet Nigeria seems to find a way to delay troubles until the open manifestation of it. Nigerian security, they are not, surprised. Anybody who's known anything, you don't even have to be a security person. You just have to live around or visit to know that these people have been there. These people are embedded with locals. People know when they move out. People know when they come in. They are there. But it's just that they have not been, so to speak, that thing they say about playing with a tiger, that you always end up in its belly. Mm-hmm. So I think that the locals have been playing with it, have been housing them. All right. So when they start up newly, they don't have that operational capacity to carry out large scale violence. Right. So what they usually do is that they sit back, they watch, they do 1 or 2 raids to sustain themselves. They do 1 or 2 businesses, and then the communities begin to see them as champions. And that's why terrorists have local sympathizers, because initially when they come into any organization or any community, what they want to do is to make themselves the sole or the dominant armed group in that place, which means that if that community is suffering from pickpockets, they will drive them out of town. If they are suffering from all these, opportunistic, they will drive them out of town. So by doing that, the locals gain the confidence of the locals as presenting themselves as the new police, as the new government, as the new, these guys are protecting us, they're protecting our farmlands, they're protecting us from cattle rustling. And then after a while, they will now begin to say, we've been protecting you for a number of years now. It is now time for you to pay us tax for protecting you. And then when the community is saying, we're not going to pay tax, then you begin to see the kind of things that is happening. And that is what is exactly happening. These guys have been there all along. It's just that Nigerian authorities are beginning to wake up to even wake up to responsibilities, but at least to acknowledge. So to me, there is no change in dynamics whatsoever. The number of armed groups in the north has not added by 1 since people started hearing of this Lukarawara or whatever it is that they identify themselves as. Nothing has changed, just that Nigerians are now beginning to pay attention to a problem that has always been there. Well, I think there's a mutual distrust. There is a distrust, not mutual now, because so usually when they pick their these guys are super intelligent, by the way, you give it to them. I've often argued that you need to have an above average IQ to be a terrorist. Make no mistake about this. People often think of terrorists as people who didn't go to school, whereas you could argue that a good number of their soldiers didn't go to school, but their commanders are well educated. Their commanders have this street intelligence. Their commanders, you need to have, in fact, as we speak now, after this interview, try leaving your studio and go and harass 1 or 2 people across your street. Try doing it and sustaining it for 2 months. So you need to have an above average IQ to do terrorism for 8 years, 10 years, 20 years to evade authorities, right? So what they do is that they study vulnerable communities that they can plant themselves there. These are usually border communities. These are usually out of reach communities. These are places where there is no electricity. These are places where there are no schools. These are places where there are no access roads, pipe-borne water. There's little to no functional government presence. All right, they can't just come and plant themselves in Abuja or in Lagos or in Port Harcourt. They can't go to the state capital. They don't start there. They don't even start from the local government capital. They start at the fringes, those forgotten areas, those hard to reach areas. So when these people come, already the communities are suffering from neglect from the Nigerian states. There's no state presence. They don't even know if they are Nigerians. The only things that get to them from the government is ballot boxes. Apart from that, nothing else. No roads, no water, no nothing, no school. And so when these people come, all right, They come, oh, we are armed, we just want a place to settle, and usually the community will give them a place to settle. All right, then they can farm, they can rear their whatever, they can start, buying up because they come with a lot of money. And then their injection into any community is like injection of life into the community because they start interacting with the community. Imagine, foreigners coming to a community with naira, with, they start purchasing things. And so over time, they build that trust with the communities. They understand the communities. Then even some young people in that community are now recruited into their fold. Some women are now recruited to offer them sometimes marriage, other times arranged consensual sex and all of those things because they have those needs. And then people supply them with what they eat, information. So by the time they embed and they get planted, now when Nigerian authorities come to tell those communities after 8 years, these are terrorists, are you now beginning to see that there's a problem?
There is indeed
because
a problem.
They can operate from this community, go to a raid in another place, and come back and give their women money and offer them protection. So when the Nigerian authority that has been non-existent, mind you, comes back after 8 years to tell them that these people we've known for 8 years, we know their names, they buy from us, we buy from them, all right, are now terrorists, it becomes difficult for the Nigerian authorities to convince the people as to who the aggressor is and who the good guys are. So for many of those communities, the line is blurred. And that's what we're seeing. So when the government complains that people are not willing to volunteer them information, you have to sit back to ask yourself, why? Was there police presence before these guys came? If there was police presence, did the people trust the police or the military before these guys came? If there was an existing relationship between Nigerian police or Nigerian military before these guys came, how come the people now trust these guys more than they trust the Nigerian authorities? So I don't just blame communities. You see from what we know now that there is a lot of blame to pass around. But again, we're not here to pass blames around. We're here to state that Nigerian authorities must begin to stamp their presence in some of those communities, get them to feel that they are part of Nigerian state so that they can contribute to the progress and peace and progress of Nigerian states.
For over a decade, this has been the birthplace of innovation. Innocent Vehicles is a testament to resilience, employing international best practices to create more than just a car. Every vehicle here tells a story of durability, fuel economy and safety. Crafted with the African spirit, the Nigerian heart. These vehicles surrounding me embody the unique concept of regionalization, each one designed to cater to the tastes and preferences of our people. From the streets in Nigeria to the terrains of the Sahara, these vehicles are designed for our roads, for our people. This is more than a vehicle. It's a symbol of our progress, our resilience, our collective success story. Your feedback drives us to continuously innovate and improve. Innocent Vehicle, the pride of African roads.